Hi everyone, welcome again to AuthorStory. I'm Alexander Lim, your host, and for this episode, I'm interviewing Kiyoshi Shimada, who is speaking on behalf of Master Ryuho Okawa, author of the book The Essence of Buddha, The Path to Enlightenment. And for those of you following along who are interested, you can go over now to the Amazon link in the description below the video and check out or get a copy of their book. So Keith, welcome to AuthorStory. Thanks for being our guest.
Hi, I thank you very much for having me again.
You're welcome. So, for the benefit of our newer listeners, I interviewed Keith before on the basics of exorcism from a Buddhist perspective. So, this is the second time here in AuthorStory. So, Keith, I acknowledge we covered your background already in the earlier interview, but for the benefit of our listeners who are either new to AuthorStory or who aren't familiar with you, would you mind just giving us a short background of yourself and your involvement with Master Okawa, the author of The Essence of the Buddha?
Okay, so my name is Kiyoshi Shimada from Japan,
Yes.
and I've been a staff for I like to say maybe priest of happy science for last 13 years,
Okay.
and this is the 14th years for me.
Wow.
And so what I'm doing is now I'm in New York in the United States. Being in charge of all North America, so including Canada and United States. So we have 10 temples or branch offices in this area, and I'm looking or watching over them
Okay.
and creating individual happiness and also better world or better society around us.
Mm.
So by learning the teachings of Master Ryuho Okawa.
Mm.
It's been this movement has been spread all over the world. We have followers and members over 100 countries, and we have almost maybe 60 or 70 branch offices and temples.
Wow.
So including Philippines. So that's what I do right now. And Master Ryuho Okawa published more than 2,100 books already.
Wow.
And we are learning that teaching almost every day.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So, all right, Master Ryuho Okawa, the movement you got is Happy Science. Is this correct?
Yes.
Yes. So, can you just give our newer listeners a bit of an insight of what Happy Science is all about?
Okay, the founder of Happy Science, Master Ryuho Okawa. So, like I said, he published 2,100 books, but the lecture itself, he gave a lectures 2,500 so far.
Wow.
So it's the organization named Happy Science was founded in 1986. So this is 36 year for this organization. So originated in Japan, but like I said, for 100 countries have members and followers.
Mm-hmm.
So he attained great enlightenment 1981.
Okay.
So he began receiving inspirations and guidance from heaven, so that he, at the beginning of Happy Science movement, he published those spiritual messages from Jesus, Moses, Buddha, all those great figures in history.
Right.
So not only religious figures, but also great figures like politicians and musicians and composers as well. So many people in Japan kind of noticed, this movement will be getting bigger and bigger, and every week you go to the bookstore, you found a new book like that.
Wow.
So that attracted many people and created, we call it Sangha, so it's a group of Happy Science. And then it just spread all over the world.
Okay.
And it's not suddenly, but gradually it's getting bigger and bigger.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So next, about the book, The Essence of Buddha. Would you mind telling us a little bit more about it and what it's all about?
Okay, so this is kind of a guidebook of Buddhism. So it's like a simple words and outline or introduction to Buddhism. But the content itself is like the what is enlightenment. Yeah, the Buddha attained under linden tree 2,600 years ago. That's the one.
Mm-hmm.
And the second one is the eightfold path.
Mm-hmm.
So which is the discipline in the Buddhism that followers or Buddha disciples did at the moment, and that we actually do in Happy Science too.
Mm.
And then the number three is the six paramitas. It's like you focus on actions to make yourself better and make the society better.
Mm.
And number four is the concept of void. So this is telling us this world is not real.
Okay.
So the other world is real.
Mm.
And then number five is a law of causality. So law of cause and effect. So how that affects our lives, or how we can apply that role to our lives to make ourselves improved. Mm. And then the last one is steps of enlightenment. So how you can step up by yourself and create the utopia together with others.
Mm. Okay, interesting. Okay, so Keith, before we get any further with the topic, I'd just like to first get into who the Buddha is. Now, I'm sure there are a lot of our listeners out there who may be familiar with the Buddha, but there are some who have only heard of him in passing. So for the benefit of us who aren't, who don't know who the Buddha is, who was he and what did he espouse? What are the main tenets of his philosophy?
Okay, so he, of course, there are the world of religions in this world. One is Christianity, as everybody knows.
Yes.
And one is also a Judaism, we can say.
Yes.
And also Muslim as well.
Yes.
Or I can say Islam,
Right.
Islam. And then in addition to those three religions, I can add Buddhism as well. So Buddha, Gautama Siddhartha, that was his name at the moment, 2,600 years ago actually in Nepal, he was born. The place that was in Nepal right now. So he was born in that place and coming to the place called India right now and start preaching. And it was 40 years for him to preach the teachings and the laws. So there are many followers created, and then that teaching was passed by the people or disciples in southern India and Sri Lanka, Thailand, and China, and Korea, and coming to Japan. And of course, that philosophy is spread all over the world. So basically, Buddhism is a core teaching of Eastern religion. So it's more on harmony, not the Buddhism mainly focuses on the harmony and the peace.
Okay. So with regards to Buddhism, Keith, I've heard that there are three essential branches of Buddhism in existence right now. There's Mahayana, there's Theravada, and there's also Vajrayana. What are the differences among these branches?
Okay, so let's divide it maybe two, simply put, because the India, Sri Lanka, Thailand, they mainly have this Theravada Buddhism.
Okay.
And China, Korea, and Japan, so they have the Buddhism, mainly this Mahayana Buddhism.
Okay.
Yeah. So what's the difference between is the Theravada Buddhism is the teaching the followers and the disciples just follow the original teaching that disciple taught back in 2,600 years ago.
Right.
And the main teaching of them is the Buddha is not reborn.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So he was just there and did the please the laws and the teaching. That's it. So the disciples, the followers, seeking the path to enlightenment, but they believe if they are done this world,
yes,
they don't want to come back to this world again. Yeah, so that's the main, I think we can say main topic of Theravada Buddhism. And Mahayana Buddhism is more like they believe Buddha also is reincarnating again and again. So there are some sects. Of course, it's both of these teaching, Theravada and Mahayana, have sects within.
Oh.
So so if you go to India,
okay,
and there's a very famous cave, and that shows many Buddhas on one place. So seven Buddhas in one place.
Right.
So they draw seven Buddhas. So in that place, they just convey the teaching. Buddha will be reborn in the country of East, 2,500 years later. So that means that place believed Mahayana Buddhism.
I see. Okay.
Right. So I cannot just say India, Sri Lanka, Thailand, just Theravada Buddhism.
Right.
Yeah. But mainly they believe Theravada Buddhism, which they don't believe Buddha's rebirth. But Mahayana Buddhism, China, Korea, Japan, they believe Buddha will be reborn again.
I see. Okay, interesting. So this feeds into the central tenet of reincarnation, where Buddhism is concerned. Then.
Yeah, that's true.
I see. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the concepts of Buddhism. You mentioned the eightfold path. So what is this eightfold path, Keith, and how would this apply to daily life?
Okay, so eightfold path, right view, so how you see it, and the right thought, how you think, the right speech, what you say, and the right action, what you do, and right livelihood. So what kind of work you do, and right effort is how much you make efforts, and right mindfulness. So what you think inside, but at the same time how you live your life, and right concentration. So it's like how much you meditate.
Okay.
So these are the eightfold path, and so we emphasize people. Self-reflection is very important. And if you reflect on your life, like the yesterday.
Yes.
You just go through these 8 points. What I saw or how I saw was okay. How I thought was okay. How I spoke was okay. And how I did was okay. And how I lived was okay. How much I made effort yesterday.
Right.
And my soul and heart and mind was okay. And the lastly, did I do some meditation? Did I do some reflection? Did I have some silent time to reflect? So we can just go through all those 8 points to get myself back to the right path. So it is always good to reflect because we don't make mistakes in the future.
Yeah, right, true. I mean, we always make mistakes, right?
Right. So it's not, it's okay, but we have to correct.
Right.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Okay. So meditation then, it plays a big part in staying on this eightfold path. Is this correct?
Yes, because if you don't have a silent time, you don't talk to your guardian spirit and yourself too, and you don't look at yourself objectively. Meditation is the key.
Okay, and how would now when you see the word meditate, I think of some monk who's been practicing for 20 years and sitting under a waterfall, cross-legged and hands on his lap. Is meditation really like this, or is there a more like accessible kind of meditation applicable to everyone who we live busy daily lives?
Yeah,
Is there a form of meditation for us?
Yeah, that's true. So you don't have to actually cross-legged meditation for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours a day.
Right.
We recommend modern people just sit 5, 10, 15 minutes to think about yourself. Okay, to look at yourself objectively. But if you do so, it's not just sit and silent. You have to judge what is right and what is wrong, and what's good and what's bad. So if you don't do so, you cannot correct your thoughts and deeds. Right. So to judge yourself or to decide, what is good and what was bad, you have to know the teaching, So if Christianity talks about the love, please love neighbors. So this just simple teaching can apply to everybody. So if you sit and think about yourself yesterday, did I love people? Right? So the teaching can be applied to everybody's life. So if you sit and meditate means maybe have silent time for 5, 10, 15 minutes every day.
Okay.
And think about yourself, and the teaching applies to you. So did I love people? So that's the one way.
Okay, cool, interesting. Yeah, okay, so you don't need to practice meditation for 20 years to get it right. We just need 5, 10 minutes a day, and that'll work.
Yeah, that works. That really works.
Okay, cool. I got that. Okay, so let's talk a few other concepts that you mentioned. Enlightenment. What is enlightenment all about, and how does one attain enlightenment?
Okay, so enlightenment. This is kind of our purpose of this lifetime. So, like I said, we reincarnate again and over between this world and the other world. So, ordinary people come down to the earth like 300 years or 400 years. Every 300 years or 400 years. So, they chose where to be born, in which country to be born in, and who to be their parents, of course, and which sex, for this lifetime, and of course when to be born. So at the same time, you chose your occupation too. So with this talent, I'd like to do this in this lifetime. So you set the goal, and then you're just going into that path. But on the way, you experience poverty, you experience sickness, you experience maybe human relationship issues. So through these hardship and difficulties, you have to overcome it, right?
Right.
And then overcoming those hardships and difficulties, you gain something new. I mean, you gain some wisdom to overcome it.
Mm.
So that's called enlightenment.
Mm.
So because if you set the goal high, if you set your target high, you of course face many challenges.
Right.
So one by one, you overcome it, and then you gain something new, some discoveries.
Mm.
So that's called enlightenment. So if you are put in the same situation as other people,
All right.
you choose option one, but the other people may choose option B, right?
Right.
So there are some differences there.
Mm.
So okay, simply put, I'm now I'm now in charge of North America organization.
Right.
But if President Trump comes into this position, he would do different things, and he would do maybe expand more than I do, of course, maybe. Okay. So that's the difference of enlightenment. If you overcome any difficulties, you gain something. So if you can understand this way, that's the enlightenment.
So it's not like enlightenment is a one size fits all kind of thing. Enlightenment varies from person to person. Like one person's version of enlightenment will be different from another person's version of enlightenment. Is this correct?
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
But at the same time, I can say it's like climbing on the mountains. Okay, so you take different passes, right? You can take different ways to go to the top.
Right. True.
Right. So on the way, there are many difficulties and setbacks. So you overcome it. You gain something new. But at the same time, height of enlightenment is the same, where they get to the same height. So a different path, and different ways, but the height of enlightenment is the same. So wherever you go, whatever you do, and actually that doesn't matter. Enlightenment itself is the same if you go to the same level.
Okay, cool, interesting. Okay, that's a different take on enlightenment from what I'm familiar with. So fantastic. So another concept that you mentioned, 6 parameters. What are these 6 parameters all about?
Okay, the 6 parameters is the perfection of offering, and the perfection of observing the precepts, and the perfection of perseverance, and the perfection of effort, perfection of meditation, and the perfection of wisdom. So it's so we focus on our thoughts when it comes to eightfold path.
Yes.
But if you come to the 6 parameters, we more focus on the actions. So the perfection of offering, that means, do you love people? Okay, by action.
Okay.
Did you do something good for other people today? Like this. So it's more specific, and it's more action oriented. So the second one is observing the precepts. So you discipline yourself. You are strict on yourself. So you decide what to do, what not to do every day. So did you do it or didn't you do it? And the perfection of perseverance. So it is like be persevere about the time. So you don't rush. You have to wait until something is realized.
Okay.
So you still keep on doing what you decided to do. Okay, and then the effort. So you are making efforts every day. Is that correct or not? And the meditation, like I said, so even 5, 10, 15 minutes, you do meditate every day. That's what you have to ask yourself. And then through this meditation, everything, you gain wisdom. So wisdom is the word another word of enlightenment. So through the meditation, you communicate with your guardian angels and receive some inspirations and wisdom. So that's also called enlightenment. So the purpose of the 6 paramitas also is to gain the wisdom and enlightenment.
Okay, cool. So 6 parameters for action, eightfold path is for more like thought and internal. Okay, interesting.
Right, that's right.
So they do go hand in hand. I mean, you can't really follow the eightfold
Yes.
path unless you follow the 6 parameters and vice versa.
That's right. So, but of course, the action is more difficult. So, if you can do it, you are, of course, leading this spirituality movement.
Right. Okay, cool. Okay, got that. Okay, so Keith, let's say you met up with a person, who's interested in investigating more about Buddhism, the Buddha, his teachings, to apply into his or her life. And you had only enough time to tell that person one thing about how all this can work for him or her, other than buy Master Okawa's book. So,
Okay.
what would be that one thing you would tell that person, and why would you say that?
Okay. So, if one thing I can tell her or him, I would say, you are not using the 90% of your total energy. You are only using 10% of your total energy, and you are wasting the time and until you die. So if you come into the teaching of Buddhism, you can find through yourself that is 90%, the rest of the energy that you are not using every day. So if you want to do it, you can empowering yourself. You can be empowering yourself to improve yourself, and at the same time, your influence is bigger than ever and make people happier. So please come join this movement or learning together the teachings.
Right. Okay. Cool. I got that. Keith, I wish we could talk longer because this is a very interesting topic, especially for me. But we're running. This is the last few minutes. I'll turn this over
That's
to
right.
you. Are there any last words of wisdom you'd like to share to anyone who's listening out there?
Oh, okay. I guess the last time. Okay, I would say, please find Happy Science nearby.
Okay.
And you can find Happy Science North America website, and there is a media part, so you can watch the TV program that we created last year.
Oh.
So that tells everything you need to know right now, and we can help you. We are dealing with evil spirits every day, and there are many people who are suffering and of sickness and illness, poverty, and human relationship issues. Please come to Happy Science.
Okay, cool. I got that. So, in closing, then, the book is The Essence of Buddha: The Path to Enlightenment. The author is Master Ryuho Okawa, and you can find the book on okawabooks.com and also on Amazon. So, Keith, thank you very much again for your time. Thank you very much for being an author story again. It was very insightful and very informative for me having you here with us today.
Thank you so much for having me again, and I'll look forward to talking to you again.
Okay, thank you very much. So, if any of you listeners want to know more about how to looking in investigating into Buddhism, please feel free to go ahead and check out The Essence of Buddha: The Path to Enlightenment, which you can do so right now by going to the Amazon link in the description below the video. And if you'd like to follow our author interviews on YouTube, I invite you to subscribe to our channel. So bye for now, everyone. I'll be back on AuthorStory next time with another inspiring author.